There are moments that seem completely ordinary at first, just another appearance, another event, another crowd gathered beneath bright lights, and then suddenly one small detail changes everything. A familiar face appears somewhere in the frame, another familiar face seems to be nearby, and within seconds, people begin looking again, zooming in, replaying the footage, comparing what they saw, and wondering whether there was something more happening behind the scenes. That is exactly the kind of atmosphere surrounding the latest buzz involving Zhang, Linghe and Tian Xiwei, after fans began speculating that the two may have attended a PUMA-related event together. Nothing about the moment needs to be exaggerated to understand why it captured so much attention. Sometimes the most powerful celebrity moments are not dramatic speeches or carefully staged announcements. Sometimes it is simply two people appearing in the same environment, a glance that lasts a little longer than expected, a familiar silhouette in the background, or the possibility that two stars who have already created so much chemistry on screen might have crossed paths away from the cameras. And when those two names are Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei, even the smallest detail can become a major talking point. The atmosphere surrounding a major fashion and sports brand event can be difficult to describe unless you have seen it yourself. There are flashing cameras everywhere, staff moving quickly through crowded spaces, fans waiting for even a second of visibility, photographers searching for the perfect angle, and celebrities entering an environment where every movement can potentially become a photograph or a short video that travels around the world within minutes. In such an atmosphere, a simple appearance can become something much bigger. The possibility of Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei being connected to the same PUMA appearance immediately sparked curiosity because fans already know how naturally the names seem to attract attention whenever they are mentioned together. Their previous professional connection created a chemistry that viewers noticed, discussed, analyzed, and remembered, and that history makes even an unconfirmed real-life encounter feel significant. But there is an important distinction in the middle of all this excitement. The claim that they attended together remains an allegation or fan speculation based on the title and circulating impressions, rather than something that should automatically be treated as confirmed fact. Yet uncertainty itself can sometimes become part of the fascination, because people begin asking what exactly was seen, what might have happened, and whether the moment has been misunderstood or overlooked. Imagine the scene for a moment. The venue is alive with energy. PUMA branding surrounds the space, lights reflect across polished surfaces, cameras are positioned everywhere, and the crowd is already anticipating the arrival of recognizable personalities. Every few seconds, another phone rises into the air as fans attempt to capture something memorable. Then attention shifts. A familiar face appears, and the reaction changes instantly. People begin whispering, pointing, recording, and trying to understand what they are seeing. If Zhang Linghe is present, the atmosphere naturally becomes intense because his appearance alone can generate enormous attention. His calm presence, distinctive appearance, and ability to command a room without appearing to demand attention make him the kind of celebrity whose arrival can change the mood of an entire crowd. But then comes the detail that makes people look twice. Somewhere within the same event environment, Tian Xiwei is allegedly connected to the scene as well. Suddenly, what might have been an ordinary brand appearance becomes a moment fans want to understand from every possible angle. What makes this particular speculation so compelling is not simply the idea of two popular actors appearing at a PUMA event. It is the emotional history fans have built around seeing Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei together professionally. When two performers share convincing chemistry on screen, viewers naturally become invested in the small details that make their interactions feel believable. A smile can suddenly carry more meaning. A glance can become memorable. A casual exchange can be replayed countless times. Even after a project ends, fans often continue watching for moments that remind them of the connection they enjoyed. That does not mean the actors are necessarily romantically involved in real life, and it is important not to confuse on-screen chemistry or fan enthusiasm with confirmation of a private relationship. But emotionally, the reaction is understandable. When people have watched two performers create a world together on screen, seeing the names appear in connection with the same real-world event can immediately awaken all those memories. And perhaps that is why the word allegedly matters so much here. It leaves room for curiosity without turning speculation into certainty. Fans may have interpreted images, clips, arrival footage, or event details as evidence that the two were present together, but without a direct confirmation, there is still a question hanging in the air. Were they actually attending together? Were they simply appearing at the same brand event? Did their schedules overlap? Was one of them present while the other was nearby? Or did the excitement grow faster than the available information could keep up with? In the world of celebrity news, those differences matter. A single frame can create a powerful impression, but a frame does not always reveal the complete story. What happens outside the camera's view can be completely different from what fans imagine. Still, there is something undeniably fascinating about watching the internet react in real time. The moment fans suspect a connection, social media becomes a giant detective room. People begin examining clothing, backgrounds, entrances, venue layouts, lighting, accessories, and even the direction someone appears to be looking. A detail that would mean nothing to a casual viewer suddenly becomes incredibly important to someone who has followed every appearance closely. A familiar jacket can trigger recognition. A similar event backdrop can raise another question. A few seconds of footage can lead to hours of discussion. The emotional intensity comes from the possibility that somewhere inside an ordinary event, there may be a moment that fans had not expected to see. For Zhang Linghe, this kind of attention is nothing new. His public appearances often become highly discussed because fans closely follow not only his professional projects but also the atmosphere surrounding his public engagements. There is something particularly captivating about seeing a performer outside the fictional worlds that audiences know him from. The contrast between the actor people recognize from dramas and the real person appearing at a fashion or brand event creates a different kind of fascination. There is no script visible, no fictional character guiding the interaction, and no carefully written dialogue telling viewers what a moment means. Everything feels more open to interpretation. That can make even a brief appearance feel unusually personal to viewers, even when the people involved are simply doing their professional jobs. Xiwei brings a similar kind of energy. Her public presence has a warmth and expressiveness that can instantly draw attention. And her fans often pay close attention to her reactions, expressions, and interactions. Put that together with Zhang Linghe in the same conversation, and it becomes easy to understand why the possibility of a shared PUMA appearance would create such excitement. Fans are not only looking at two celebrities, they are remembering the characters, scenes, emotions, and performances that made these two names feel connected in the first place. The real-world event becomes a bridge between what audiences remember from entertainment and what they are seeing now. There is also something symbolic about a PUMA setting. Brand events are built around image, movement, style, confidence, and personality. They bring together entertainment and fashion in a way that allows celebrities to present themselves differently from how they might appear in a drama. The clothing, the lighting, the atmosphere, the cameras, and the crowd all create a setting where a simple walk across the venue can become visually striking. If Zhang Linghe and Tian were indeed present in the same environment, even without any dramatic interaction, the visual contrast and shared atmosphere would naturally become memorable. Fans might wonder whether they noticed each other, whether they exchanged greetings, whether they happened to stand nearby, or whether the entire connection was simply created by overlapping schedules. And that unanswered question is exactly what keeps the story alive. If there were an obvious, confirmed interaction, there would be less mystery. But when the evidence is incomplete, imagination fills the gaps. One person sees a coincidence. Another sees a meaningful connection. Someone else insists there is nothing unusual at all. Meanwhile, everyone is looking at the same pieces of information from completely different emotional perspectives. That is how celebrity moments become viral. The footage itself may be short, but the conversation surrounding it can become enormous. There is another side to this story that deserves attention too. Behind every viral celebrity moment are real people trying to do their jobs while living under an extraordinary level of public attention. Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei are both professionals navigating an industry where appearances are constantly photographed and analyzed. A simple smile does not necessarily mean romance. Standing in the same location does not automatically mean a private meeting. Attending the same brand event does not prove that two people arrived together. Those distinctions should remain clear even when the excitement is intense. The most interesting version of the story is not necessarily the most sensational one. Sometimes the truth is more subtle, and that subtlety can be just as fascinating. Yet fans cannot be blamed for feeling excited. After all, fandom is built around emotion. People remember moments that made them smile. They remember scenes that made their hearts race. They remember interviews, events, photographs, and tiny interactions that felt special. When two performers who have already created a strong connection in the eyes of viewers appear to be linked again, it can feel like the return of something familiar. It brings back the feeling of watching them together. It creates nostalgia. It creates curiosity. And for some fans, it creates the hope that perhaps another memorable interaction might be waiting somewhere in the footage. One of the most intriguing possibilities is that the most important moment might not even be obvious at first glance. Sometimes viral moments are born from details that appear almost insignificant. Maybe someone turns their head at exactly the right time. Maybe a smile appears when another person walks past. Maybe two people are seen entering the same area at different moments. Maybe the camera briefly catches something that viewers initially ignore. Then someone posts a slowed-down version, another person enhances the frame, another compares timestamps, and suddenly thousands of people are discussing a 3-second moment. Whether that interpretation proves meaningful or not, the collective excitement becomes a story of its own. This is also why celebrity event footage can feel strangely intimate even when it is completely public. The camera captures fragments rather than full conversations. Viewers see expressions but rarely hear the entire context. They see movement without always knowing what happened before or after. That incomplete picture invites questions. What did they say? Did they recognize each other immediately? Were they simply greeting another colleague? Did the crowd make interaction difficult? Were they even in the same part of the venue at the same time? The unanswered questions create an emotional tension that keeps people watching. And perhaps the biggest question of all is whether there is actually a story behind the story. Are fans witnessing a genuine shared appearance, or has a simple coincidence been transformed into something much bigger because of the popularity of these two names together? The honest answer, based only on the claim itself, is that the situation should remain in the realm of speculation until reliable confirmation appears. But that does not make the moment meaningless. Even speculation can reveal how deeply audiences connect with performers. The intensity of the reaction tells us something about the emotional impact Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei have had on viewers, both individually and together. There is something almost cinematic about the possibility of them appearing in the same space again. Bright lights surrounding the venue. Cameras flashing from every direction. Fans holding phones above their heads. Music moving through the room. Brand logos glowing in the background. Zhang Linghe stepping into view. Tian Xiwei appearing somewhere within the same event atmosphere. For a few seconds, the outside world disappears and everyone focuses on the same question: are we actually seeing them together? It is not necessarily about a grand declaration. It is about proximity, timing, and the possibility of a shared moment. For fans who have followed the journey, those details can feel surprisingly emotional. There is a strange power in seeing two people associated with memories from a fictional world appear in the real world. It reminds viewers that the performers continued living, working, attending events, and building their own careers after the cameras stopped rolling on the shared projects. Their paths may cross again, or they may simply continue on separate professional journeys. Either way, each public appearance becomes another chapter in a much larger story of two actors whose names continue to generate excitement whenever they appear in the same conversation. The PUMA speculation also highlights how quickly modern celebrity culture can transform a small moment into a global conversation. A photo can travel across platforms in seconds. A short clip can be reposted thousands of times. Fans from different countries can begin discussing the same frame almost immediately. What begins as an observation becomes a theory, the theory becomes a debate, and the debate becomes a trending topic. Somewhere in that process, the original moment can become almost secondary to the emotion surrounding it. People are no longer simply watching what happened. They are experiencing the possibility of what it might mean. But perhaps the most beautiful part is that uncertainty does not have to be destroyed by an immediate answer. Sometimes it is enough to appreciate the moment for what it appears to be while keeping an open mind about what remains unknown. If Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei were both connected to the same PUMA event, that alone is an interesting professional coincidence. If they interacted, fans may have another memorable moment to cherish. If later information shows that they were not actually attending together, the excitement still demonstrates the remarkable attention the names command. The key is to separate excitement from certainty. As the imagined scene fades into the endless stream of cameras and lights, one thing remains clear: people were watching. They were paying attention because Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei have become names capable of creating an immediate emotional reaction whenever their paths appeared to intersect. Whether this particular PUMA connection turns out to be a genuine shared appearance, a simple scheduling coincidence, or a moment that was interpreted more dramatically than it actually was, the curiosity surrounding it is undeniable. And sometimes the most memorable celebrity stories are not the ones that give us every answer immediately. They are the ones that leave a small question hanging in the air, inviting everyone to look a little closer. Maybe that is why this moment feels bigger than an ordinary brand event. It is not simply about a logo, a venue, cameras, or fashion. It is about the memories attached to two people who have already given audiences so many moments to talk about. It is about the strange way entertainment can blur the boundary between fictional chemistry and real-world curiosity. It is about how a single appearance can awaken emotions that fans thought had already settled. And it is about the timeless fascination of wondering what happens when two people with such a powerful shared presence unexpectedly occupy the same space. For now, the most responsible way to view the situation is with excitement tempered by caution. The claim that Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei attended PUMA together remains something to be treated as alleged rather than confirmed unless trustworthy evidence establishes it. But that does not mean fans have to stop enjoying the mystery. They can appreciate the atmosphere, revisit the footage, remember the performances that made these two stars so memorable, and wait to see whether clearer information emerges. Because sometimes the most unforgettable part of a celebrity moment is not what we know, but the few seconds when we are still wondering. And somewhere beneath all the noise, beneath the flashing cameras, the excited posts, the endless replays, and the countless theories, there is a remarkably simple reason this story has captured so much attention. People care. They care about the performers, they care about the memories created through their work, and they care about the possibility of seeing something unexpected. Whether the PUMA connection turns into another treasured moment or simply remains one of those intriguing coincidences that briefly set the internet buzzing, the excitement itself has already created a moment fans will remember. The cameras may have captured only fragments, but those fragments were enough to make people stop, look again, and ask the question that continues to echo through the excitement: could Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei really have been there together, or did fans simply catch a coincidence that felt like something more? Until there is a clear answer, the mystery remains suspended beneath the lights of that PUMA atmosphere, where every glance can become a story, every frame can become a clue, and every unexpected appearance can send an entire fandom into a wave of emotion. And perhaps that is what makes the moment so captivating. Not because it proves anything about their private lives, but because it reminds everyone just how powerful a shared screen history, a familiar connection, and one unexpected public appearance can be. Sometimes a few seconds are enough to bring back an entire world of memories. Sometimes a single frame is enough to make millions of people wonder. And sometimes, when two names as beloved as Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei appear side by side in the same conversation once again, the internet does exactly what it has always done. It stops, watches, wonders, and waits for the next moment.